Even the fact that you are practicing compassion, lust is negative at this point. So, lust is, or at least it's better to say opposite tendencies, negative or positive. Lust is an opposite tendency. Halfway through, just after, let's say, you cannot just say where the breaking point is. Let's say during the first 2 weeks, you really had compassion, you were being really compassionate, honestly, and then it was purely compassion. And 2 weeks later, it was just lust. It's lust or feelings of feelings that correspond to sexuality that had overpowered your compassion. And now the best indicator here now is hereafter, whenever you see C talking to B, you are nervous, right? Meaning that's a masquerading tendency. But why is it tricky? What is masquerading tendency here? Is it compassion masquerade? No, that's the actual tendency that you had always wanted to elevate, to practice as a spiritual emotion. But what is the masquerading tendency? Here, lust. Lust has made you think that it is compassion that you are still continuing to practice. But it's no longer compassion, it is lust. But at this point, why it is called a masquerading tendency is lust appearing in the garb of compassion. Repeat, compassion, lust appearing in the garb of compassion. But it is lust. It happens a lot. Sometimes you love to listen to singers. And one more example, singer, and your favorite singer, or you you love a certain chanting monk, right? And that's a purely Buddhist thing, right? You go for chantings, or you know what, is that venerable there today? Yeah, oh, I must go. And so no, he is sick today. Oh, really? I wouldn't go. And let's say your favorite, right? Your favorite monk who can chant, and he is beautiful. His voice is so beautiful that you are deeply touched by his voice, right? And you go for it. And this is real life situation. And this is specifically good. The other thing is just real life, material life, you could encounter that this triangle thing. But this is more closer to Buddhist practice, your spiritual practice. Now, the monk, the venerable monk, now he's getting old and his voice is not so attractive right now. It's not so deep, right? Even though when you get older, the older you get, your voice becomes deeper. Now he got some sickness, and then he has some problem, maybe a cancer situation, a condition, a medical condition, and so maybe it's a cancer or something. He has undergone some surgeries, whatever. So his voice is not so beautiful now. It's weak, right? And you could be one of them leaving him. Believe me, I know such people. You could be one of them. Actually, you don't really how to say, we use this word in American English, but it's not good to use this word in the spiritual terminology. But still, in America they do. And some people, even though I will never dump my monk, right? So use that word. But it's just one. It's in a way I love American. It's very simple. You can use the same word for everything, right? So it's very. You don't need to know much English to do things in America. So, and then you could be among the audience, among the people that are leaving the monk by gradual. I mean by degrees, gradually, because you find it. If you know what, I love him. I like. He's my monk. But his chanting is not poor monk, but I respect him, but he cannot chant like that before. I have his voice on CD, and I would listen, I'm not going today, I'll pay a visit some other time. And slowly you would still opt that too, and you would only stick to the CD, right? And you wouldn't see the monk anymore. And then this happens, because I know one case in Sri Lanka, the monk told me, and I had noticed that. And I have seen many people. One of my distant relatives was also in his audience, and this time I really got him. I told him. And so this is something very, very natural, because you loved his voice so much, and you would follow him wherever he went. not just because the message or the chanting really help you relax, right? That's the purpose of attending a chanting session. Even though you don't necessarily understand what is being chanted, why you go there is just to relax. If you know the meaning behind, if you know word to word meaning of the sutra that is being chanted, it's better. You can benefit more because parallel to the relaxation process, you can think dharma. So it really contributes towards more relaxation. Anyway, the purpose is going to chanting session is to relax, but now the voice isn't there. So, but you kind of get away from the original resource, the original source. The monk is the source, right? Because he doesn't at that point, and you would say, what I'm going to say is, it may be, I'm not really saying this is metaphor, but the story was true. That the one in Sri Lanka is true story. But take this. This is just a metaphor at this point. Now, it wasn't really devotional. It wasn't really devotion, saddha, or faith, or confidence in the triple gem that you were really practicing. But actually, you had so much lust towards his voice. Now the voice is no longer there, and you feel you find it less interesting to go, right? But at the very beginning, it was pure devotion, no saddha. Halfway through, or somewhere in the process, somewhere in the what I call the process is spiritual practice is a process, and don't rush to have a goal, because you need to watch yourself. It's like if spiritual practice is a process, then you must have a goal in your life. What is the goal of what is the destination of your life? Death. You never want to go there. You just need to continue. That's life. It's a process. Like in spiritual practice also. And halfway through the process, your devotion, saddha, got overpowered by lust for voice. So for the monk's voice, because his chanting was so beautiful, and it did really help you calm down, and it really helped you increase your devotion. But later, you would only listen to that voice, right? And that's an indicator. But you wouldn't still understand. Why did you decide that you leave the audience? The monk, but he doesn't chant anymore, and you only listen to his CD. Why not pay a visit on a regular basis to see him? That's the original source. But you couldn't do that, because this is an actual situation that I know in many places. The very people that I am in my mind right now are in Sri Lanka. So that's common. So and then that's the masquerading tendency. You know when your devotion got overpowered by, got replaced by, came to be represented by lust. It happens. We call them fine line situations. Fine line in Abhidharma. This is in America we have applied Abhidharma, not just reading Abhidharma and then memorizing the list. Actually, it's better to remember the book, but application must be there. Otherwise, Americans would never come. They would come just once, twice. Oh, you know what? He's just reading the book. He's by the books. He is not by the application. So I need to apply. And then, so that's why we use this broken cup vipassana or broken cup abhidharma. You broke the cup. This morning you still have the cup in your mind, right? Because that's you cling. You still maintain your clinging, your perception that the cup is there, and it's like you never lost it. So that you are suffering. Because of the clinging, the cup has brought you a lot of suffering. That's why everything is suffering. Otherwise the cup itself doesn't suffer. Cup is mindless. So there's no way that the cup suffers. Then how can you say, why Buddha say, then why Buddha says everything is suffering? Cup is part of everything. Cup is not from another universe. Even the universe itself is within everything, right? So why everything is suffering means everything gives you suffering. That's why everything is called suffering. everything leads to suffering. It depends on your